Trish Toby with WARC reporting to you live from Westchester, New York, where there appears to be some sort of mutant menace on the loose.
Hey, I'm Pat Reber.
And I'm Matt Allcamp.
And say it with me, Pete. Welcome to Mutant Menace.
You're a little slow, Pat.
Yeah. No,
that was so good. You were really slow.
Well, I was waiting for your cue. So, if anything,
I was waiting for Pete's cue.
You could cue me a little sooner, Pete.
Yeah, Pete, cue us a little sooner next time, okay?
Anyway, welcome to Mutant Menace, a podcast about the X-Men. Matt, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
I'm good. I'm turning my air conditioner off, so I'll probably get progressively worse.
As we probably all know, probably everybody listening knows, everybody knows, I had like a pretty harrowing experience this week. So.
What? Matt, what happened?
What? You know what happened. All right, I guess for the listener's sake, I guess you forgot or something, but for the listener's sake, I was out, I guess it was Wednesday night. Mm-hmm. I was seeing my favorite band. With a close friend.
Okay.
When suddenly Coldman front person Chris Martin turned his little camera on me, and I wouldn't have been embarrassed to be seen with my friend, but her shirt got a little rip in the back, and I was trying to hold it closed for her. And then she saw up on the camera. She was afraid it was going to fly open. And everybody was going to see her Metallica tattoo that she has right in the middle of her chest. So I helped her duck. And then I ducked away so she wouldn't feel alone. And now everybody on the internet is freaking out about it just because she's my HR guy. Well, it's just not fair. But besides that, I'm doing okay.
Any publicity, Matt, is good publicity.
How about you? How are you?
Timeless comedy, folks. Things we'll look back on in years and remember with fondness. I'm doing all right. I've had a stressful week, probably brought on by the change in tone of the X-Men comics I've been reading.
Yeah, it's getting you that. It's hitting you that hard.
No, I just. Yeah,
it's okay. It's okay, Pat.
I thought it would be funny, but then you pressed me on it, and now I'm. Now I feel like a liar.
Well, I was yes-anding you, and it's all right. Look, we could start this whole podcast over again from episode 1 if you wanted. If this intro isn't good enough for you, I'll start from episode 1 if you want.
Do you want to start the episode over again?
No.
Hang on. As the music indicates, we do have a couple emails from Pat's Email Corner, both of them from Weapon Jason. And I am going to paraphrase a bit here, but he provides some very helpful information. Okay. Hi, Matt and Pat. Skipping that word. It took me this long to realize y'all have rhyming first names. The whole full names in the intro does a really good job hiding that. That's an interesting note, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Thanks, Jason. I hadn't
appreciate the feedback.
I hadn't noticed.
I think the word Pat was looking for, instead of sommelier, wine advisor, was consigliere, mafia boss advisor. And he's absolutely right. Which is the Robert Duvall role in the 2 Good Godfather films and the George Hamilton role in the not as good Godfather film. I think he's referring to Donnie Brasco. Weapon Jason goes on to say, really enjoyed the recap episode. I came to these early X-Men comics once I discovered back issue bins in the early 80s, and of course the various Marvel Origins reprint books. Being able to read these now via Marvel Unlimited or the Essentials collections, or just owning a few very beat up copies found in the 25-cent bins feels like a luxury. He then goes on to argue that Angel deserves a little credit for being the one that really wants to be a superhero out of the original X-Men, which, fair point. And then a few compliments for us, which Matt and I are not good at accepting, so I'm not going to read through them. But Weapon Jason also followed up to comment on our Giant Size X-Men #1 episode, where he said, I was a very young boy when this issue came out and ended up in the stack of comics my brother and I were reading on a road trip that summer. The cover had captured his and my eye, and we convinced the parents to, quote, waste the extra 25 cents on this thing. Unfortunately, the issue did not make the return trip with us, but back then I was definitely not aware of the concept of collecting. Comics were transitory objects.
You want to know how I know Weapon Jason is a big freaking liar, pants on fire?
Why is that?
Giant Size X-Men cost 50 cents. No, Weapon Jason.
That's what he's saying. They wasted extra 25 cents.
Damn it.
Yeah. He's got you.
You got me again, Weapon Jason.
You come for Weapon Jason. You best not miss. He does also... Jason, it seems like you are a fan of Angel, which is fine. I think we're going to dig in a little more as his story goes on, but he argues that maybe he wasn't wearing Magneto's costume since the Magneto costume incident, and instead just had a replica of it made for himself.
All right. Yeah, and fucking maybe Magneto didn't actually make the costume and sap his life energy from him. Maybe he was just pretending and they were all doing a big joke together. Anything could be possible, Weapon Jason. Sorry, you were right. I tried to come at you and then it turned out I was wrong, and so now I'm mad at you. But I won't be by the end of this email.
Yeah, folks, I really hope everybody understands that when we yell at you for the emails that you write us, it is because we feel that level of comfort with you. We wouldn't be like this with folks that we didn't like. So please understand. We do want you to email us at
Here's the thing.
menacepod@gmail.com.
Do I yell at people when they email us the first time, or do I tend to have to get comfortable with them to start yelling at them? I honestly don't know the answer to that question.
We've gotten comments on it from the last two in the last two episodes during Pat's Email Corner, but they are from our
regular emailers.
Our regulars, our officially named emailers. Mm-hmm. The highest honor we can bestow
is to yell at you or to name you. Oh, sorry. Well,
he also goes on. There is one compliment I will pass along to say that Alex Goldman was an excellent addition to the podcast and really enjoyed his contribution. He loves when we have guests.
Thank you, Weapon Jason. And I actually have a lot more to say to you, but it turns out...
Oh, yes. Like sorry, Matt. That is the end of Pat's Email Corner. Matt, I'm going to beat you to it. You tried it, but you're not going to get there. Did you do anything
X-Men related this week?
Shit. Damn it. In fact, I did, Matt.
Oh, okay.
There is a wonderful thrift shop in Philadelphia. If you, the listener, ever find yourself in Philadelphia, it's called Philly AIDS Thrift, and it has just about everything. It also supplied the props and costumes for the years of comedy shows Matt and I did together. I swang by the other day, and for $1.99, I was able to pick up How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way by Stan Lee and John Buscema.
Holy shit.
Yeah. This was like a 15-minute read if you just sit down and read it, but it really does encourage you to like go step by step, learn the process, and I thought it would be a lot cornier than it actually is. It is it's a pretty dynamic guide to drawing Marvel comics. It's really neat.
That's awesome. That sounds
Yeah.
fun.
Now we can finally start that X-Men comic we keep talking about.
we're just, if you do enough episodes of an X-Men podcast, you're allowed to do your own X-Men comic and you don't have to get permission. So that's what we're just aiming for, that number, so we can do that.
Right. We
won't tell you what the number is because we don't want competition. So we don't want
around 500 or 600 episodes.
Stop it! Don't tell them.
Matt, did you do anything X-Men related this week?
A little bit, yeah. I've been reading the X-Men, and not just that. In my personal read, I wonder if listeners are invested at all in my non-podcast personal read.
We've gotten some emails about it.
I just got to, and this is really, really fitting for this episode, I just got to the end of Claremont's run.
Ooh.
So
that is a lot of comics.
So I'm in my personal life finishing Claremont's run, while in my
professional life.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can't call this our professional life. We lose money. We make $0 and we lose the costs of hosting this podcast.
I spend my vast fortune.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, while on this podcast, I'm starting the Claremont run, so it'd be an interesting little comparison.
Give us a taste, Matt. We are starting the Claremont run today. Overall, what do you think?
I think it starts out exceptionally strong when compared with the 66 previous issues, right? Okay. Like in comparison, it's very strong. And then around the time of John Byrne, it gets like legitimately, if it was standing completely on its own, no comparison, incredibly strong.
Ooh, I named my D&D character after John Byrne.
What is it?
Jonna Byrne, the dwarf fighter.
Okay. Then
nobody's picked up on it yet,
I think, and then it stays pretty strong for a while. That it dips a little bit in the 80s. He seems to lose his way, and he also just a little. He seems to not quite know where he's going for just a kiss. And then during the Outback era, there's some very bizarre issues where it's like,
I can't wait.
It's like it's like he lost interest, and then he'd come up with one week like, oh, you know what I want to do a story on, and then would do. Like, there was a lot of standalone stuff, and there was a lot of just really frenetic stuff. We'd be like, what the fuck? What is he doing now? But then it all pretty much comes together around 1990.
So
I don't know that that's look, I'm gonna have more detailed and intelligent things to say about all this stuff when we do our, in-depth readings. But right now, I guess what I want to say is there's ups and downs. But it's mostly good.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, to sum all that up,
8.5.
8.5.
I think the X-Men will hit higher heights in the 2000s and 2010s, to be honest.
Ooh.
I know it's controversial, okay. But but not by far. And not all being written by the same guy. Like that's the achievement factor of Chris Claremont is off the charts. 11, 12, right? Can we move on?
Yeah, I was just after like a letter grade, but thank you, man. Do we want to talk a little bit about Chris Claremont before we?
I would love to talk about Chris Claremont.
Do you start dipping our toes? Our tootsies?
So I have this book called Comic Creators on X-Men.
Ooh.
And I have Fantagraphics actually put out 2 X-Men companions in the 1980s. I have those as well. So I have a little bit of background on Chris Claremont. besides just
Ooh.
fucking Wikipedia or whatever. What do you know about his early life?
Was he an athlete? Was
No,
he a gifted young athlete?
He was trying to be an actor.
Oh, right.
He might have been an athlete, but I don't
No,
know.
I'm sure I'm thinking of someone else.
He was born in England and then moved to Long Island when he was like 8 years old. And then he was trying to be an actor. His friends had some contacts in the comic book world, like Al Jaffe.
Ooh.
Who introduced him to Stan Lee. And so anyway, he picked up a part-time job at Marvel in like 1973 as just like what he called a gopher, right? Like just running around, like just like an intern. And then he became an assistant editor.
Right, under Len Wein, right? When he just kind of grabbed a bunch of teenagers to be his assistant editors.
Yeah, I think he started working there right before Len took over, but yes, he worked right underneath Len Wein. And he wrote some shit, like he wrote some shit he didn't get credited for, and then he ended up writing Giant-Sized Dracula and War is Hell.
Ooh.
Then for our purposes, Len Wein gets sick of being editor-in-chief and cuts the amount of books he's writing down from like I don't know, some astronomical number to just like 4 or 5.
Right, because Stan Lee and Roy Thomas were both expected to write about half the books that Marvel was putting out.
I guess, I don't know, I guess that was it, or it's just like the editor-in-chief writes any book that they can't find another writer for, or maybe it fucking saves the company money if you don't hire other writers. But X-Men, which was supposed to be a quarterly book, like we talked about last episode, these first 2 issues we're going to read today were supposed to be Giant Size X-Men number 2, and it's supposed to be quarterly. It got bumped up to a bi-monthly book, and Len Wein was like, fucking give it to the kid. So it ended up being CHRIS Claremont.
Len Wein held on to the Hulk instead of the X-Men.
I guess he just loved writing the same story over and over and over again.
Yeah, baffling decision.
Mm-hmm. And then, CHRIS Claremont, his whole idea was he loved the Neil Adams, Roy Thomas stuff. He wasn't a fan of pretty much any of the other X-Men stuff. And he loved the new characters. And so his thought was like, I'm just going to tell the life story of these characters. And his plan was eventually to just have them sort of rotate out. They would go move on with their life. They wouldn't be X-Men forever. They would move on with their lives as the X-Men continued to be an institution.
Which solves that dilemma we keep talking about where they've graduated. What are they doing now?
Exactly.
It was probably shortly after, or maybe even during the issues that we're reading here, is when he and Dave Cockrum sit down and just plot out the next like 10 years of the X-Men, right?
Is it that far?
I don't know the exact length of time, but they draw out this long plan, and we'll see as we go in here that this is a thing CHRIS Claremont likes to do, is just seeding stories that won't pay off for issues.
Yeah. Sometimes years.
Yeah.
Sometimes a decade. Like when we get to like the New Mutants era, there's shit that is set up in issue 1. Maybe not issue 1. There's shit that's set up that isn't paid off for like 30 issues.
Yeah. And then we just get a shit ton of titles because his ideas, all the ideas he had couldn't be supported by one monthly book, right?
Right. I think he was. We'll talk about this as we get closer to it, but I think a lot of the extra titles were forced upon him, and he was like, "I'm not letting anybody else touch the X-Men, so I will do a second title. It'll be called New Mutants." And then later, it was like they had to sneak X Factor by him.
Okay.
We'll talk about it when it happens, but it was like he learned about their plans to start X Factor on a Friday before the office closed. And he was told about it over dinner, far enough away from the office and late enough at night that he couldn't get there and quit in time.
Oh my God.
And so he had the weekend to calm down. It's a wild story.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
The other thing I know about this Claremont run is, I mean, Giant Size X-Men #1 is a huge hit, and the X-Men doesn't really cool down too much from there. It becomes this huge selling title. It's extremely popular, and Marvel, the company, is in a bit of crisis. They go through a lot of editors-in-chief in this time. They go through some sales at this time of the company itself. Nobody touches the X-Men because it is the cash cow for Marvel for the next 10 to 15 years.
And it's going to be really exciting. The thing I am worried about, Pat, is I don't think we're going to have the problem this episode, because these issues are pretty silly. But my worry is that we are going to run thin on joke material.
Yeah, you're not going to have goofy things to make fun of.
Exactly.
This is going to be us just in awe for a little while.
This is a trial of our comedic skills. Can we make fucking Chris Claremont's ultra drama funny? Other X-Men podcasts have tried.
Here's
to
an
varying
interesting thing.
degrees of success.
Here's an interesting thing that we'll see through this run. Prior to this podcast, this episode, in fact, I really hadn't read much Claremont. I read Extinction Agenda, which
I just finished this past week.
I think was a bit of a slog to get through.
Whoa, really? Okay.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's going to be different in this context when we reach it.
It will. It will, because it is the reuniting of all the mutants who have been either separated ideologically or unaware of each other's existence because they thought each other were dead. Like, it is the reuniting of several different teams of mutants for the first time in like 6 years.
Right. I basically hopped in at the end of a book. Like, I'm reading the final chapter without reading. This is the same thing that happened with the fucking Harry Potter movies. The other thing, aside from like single issues here and there, the only other Claremont run that I've read is his like mid-aughts Extreme X-Men run.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's not good. It's extremely boring. I made it through one trade paperback collection and gave it back to Philly AIDS Thrift, actually.
I'll say,
I found it.
Salvador LaRocca's art is great in that. And I like the introduction of the character of Sage is cool. But yeah, it's awful. It's bad comics.
It's a tough read. We'll get there, I'm sure.
Oh my gosh. In the year 2030.
Okay, Matt, should we finally get into this damn comic book run?
Yes. All right. X-Men number 94, The Doomsmith Scenario.
Ooh.
Plotted and edited by Len Wein, written by Chris Claremont, art Dave Cockrum, ink Bob McLeod, colors Phil Rachelson, letters Tom Orzakowski. Released on June 10th, 1975. Pat, I also want to point out we are about to basically do the first year of Chris Claremont.
Yes, we are covering several issues
because it is the they are bi-monthly at this point. So we will basically, just be covering his entire first year.
Let's go.
Professor Xavier has called a meeting of all his 13 X-Men to discuss their future plans. Sunfire gets mad for no reason and leaves, while Storm and Wolverine agree to stay. Banshee, after some reservations, is convinced to stay, while Nightcrawler, Colossus, and Thunderbird kind of just don't answer.
They're pondering it.
They're wondering, do I want to be at a place called the School for Gifted Youngsters? I'm 35. Then, to Xavier's surprise, Angel tells him that the original X-Men are all quitting the team. Lorna, Marvel Girl, Angel, Iceman, and Havoc all quit, while Cyclops stays up all night, tortured by the decision, but ultimately decides to stay because of his ding-dang eyeballs.
His burden.
He and Jean share a very loving and sad kiss. Kiss, Pat!
They kiss, and they say, I love you.
They say, I love you for the first
Aw.
time.
They are truly in a relationship.
Signifying that we definitely won't be seeing her again in like 2 issues and every issue afterward for about 5 years. Because otherwise, why would they have this really touching goodbye, Pat? After their farewells, the X-Men begin training. After Thunderbird initially underestimates the danger room, we get a full-page montage of several weeks of drills.
There's a very funny panel where, or 2-panel sequence where Thunderbird's like, shut up, this room is nothing, I'll walk from one side to the other, and you just see him disappear in and then get thrown out to demonstrate that it's more dangerous than we think.
Who says Chris Claremont doesn't have a sense of humor? Me, I said it.
Yeah, you said that earlier.
The scene ends when Thunderbird, again, tired from too much stress, gets injured by a laser and argues with Cyclops before storming away. Cut to a North American Air Defense Command base. NORAD, they call it, Pat.
NAAD, North American Air Defense. I believe that's NAAD.
The base is called Valhalla. It's in the Colorado Rocky Mountains. Joe Harris, whose full name we're told for some reason, gets a weird button in the mail and instantly pushes it.
Why? So you're underselling it a bit, Matt. This is clearly a high up in the military. Yeah. This is like InfoSec 101. Don't just take some weird flash drive that somebody mails you and stick it in a computer. He gets an envelope. He opens the envelope and it's a button that says, press me.
His colleagues are watching him and he's like, oh, I bet this is a prank. They know it's not because they didn't do it.
Yeah.
They should say, whoa, don't touch that. And so it's so funny because so not only do we hear about NORAD, we also get like a lot of talk about airplanes. And it starts this long tradition of Chris Claremont being so horny for aircraft.
Oh man, he really loves. He's done his research. He
loves
in
jets.
High school, I feel like there were 2 types of nerds. There were like the sort of strange, artsy, probably a little egotistical, or even just straight up nerdy ones. And then there were the military comic book nerds.
Oh my gosh.
That loved guns and aircraft. And
they weren't just comic book nerds. They would read like Tom Clancy novels and shit.
Yes. Yeah. And so Chris Claremont, as far as I can tell, is one of those.
Yeah, I think he's one of those. But he writes a pretty good team of weird misfits. So we can forgive him. So when Joe Harris pushes this button, we'll see Joe Harris again. I'm sure of it, Pat. He opens a portal that 5 animal-human hybrids leap out of. The frog guy, the cat guy.
Love a cat guy.
The bird guy.
Do not like a bird guy.
The gorilla guy.
Gort. His name is Gort.
So your favorite?
I do. I love man named Gort. Yes.
I love the frog guy for reasons that we'll discuss later.
Okay.
Did I say cat guy?
You said cat guy. You missed Dragonfly girl.
Bug girl. Her name is Dragonfly. She's a bug. They beat up everyone in the room to make room for Count Nefaria. Patty's back.
Oh my God.
He tells us how he escaped from prison, made some animal men, and now he's going to take over this Air Force base. So he walks over to a computer and presses a button which fills the base with gas, knocking everyone out. Pat, why do they have that button?
So yeah, that was already installed in their control panel in NORAD.
They already did it
with knockout gas.
The person who designed NORAD was like, before I okay this, I need you to install knockout gas vents throughout the whole thing, and we need to put a button in Joe Harris's office that can deploy the gas.
And this is a guy that just presses any button that's handed to him.
Maybe he's so used to getting buttons because like that's the test. They keep sending him buttons, and they're like he pressed it again. All right, that's going on his record. He's not getting a raise this year.
We might not be able to trust this guy with this knockout gas button. Let's test him again. He's just getting a new button once a month. Of course he's going to press it.
And he's always pressing them. And he's never getting a raise. And every performance review, they're like, you have to stop pressing buttons. We can't keep you near the knockout gas button. If you keep pressing the buttons, he's like, okay, no, I understand. No, this is good feedback. Thank you. And then 3 days later, they send him a button. And he starts pressing it.
I know he doesn't fight the X-Men, but is this a loser league candidate?
Joe Harris, the button presser. Oh man, we'll have to discuss his induction into the loser league. All right. So meanwhile, while all this is happening, Cyclops is deep in thought, tortured by the failure of his responsibilities, which led to Thunderbird's accident. When Nightcrawler comes in to comfort him, Pat, this scene is so good.
The storytelling here just slows down. Like, we take a moment to see Scott sitting in a chair pondering
with no thought balloons.
Yeah.
There's no like excessive Roy Thomas Stanley dialogue dialogue and captions. It's like he's sitting there thinking, and we, the reader, are supposed to, like, if you're watching a movie, project ourselves at like, what is he thinking about?
For someone who's typically very wordy, Chris Claremont knows when to shut the hell up.
And then Nightcrawler comes in to just try and talk to him.
He's so fucking cool.
Everybody he meets, he just instantly ingratiates himself to. He's just like his power. He's got the power of friendship. Does. At that moment, Professor X calls them all to the briefing room where Beast, Pat,
hey, buddy.
He's with the Avengers now.
He is.
He tells them all about the situation at Valhalla, but the Avengers are too busy to help.
Stupid Avengers.
They're probably all hiding in a tree waiting for Black Widow to get back from her date with Daredevil or something. Despite a quick argument about whether or not Thunderbird should come along, they all take off in a brand new jet, which Chris Claremont is again horny for, and will get wrecked in like 2 pages.
Yeah, this is the SR-71, right?
Is it? Do they use that terminology?
I think.
Yeah, they call it the Blackbird.
Yeah.
And I think the Blackbird is the SR-71. Yeah.
Sick. When
they approach the base, they are briefed by their old pal, General Fredericks. Pat, you remember General Fredericks?
Not at all.
You don't remember? They talked to General Fredericks when they were discussing Vanisher's plan to kidnap the defense plans.
The Vanisher? This okay. First of all, we remember him from issue number 2.
Yeah.
And second of all, this is the guy that was like, the Vanisher says he'll come back and steal our plans. Let's leave them here, but add men with guns. The guy that refuses to move the plans. The
very last time we saw him was in X-Men 17, where so this is a Stan Lee, Jack Kirby creation. General Fredericks.
It's a deep cut.
So the last time we see him is when they defeat the Sentinels in the big like hidden mountain.
Oh my god!
And he's like, and he says, we owe the X-Men a debt of gratitude or whatever he fucking says. Like, that's General Fredericks.
That is an incredible pull because he looks at Cyclops and says, "Oh, I remember you."
It's like, that's just like, hey, it's been a long time. It's so good. It's so that dry Cyclops wit. Not even wit. It's not even wit. It's just a kind of condescension. It's like topping from the bottom.
Yeah. I know you don't like me, so I'm going to give you a reason.
Yeah. So General Fredericks tells them they only have 52 minutes to cancel the Doomsmith, a weapon system which will fire automatically regardless of Count Nefaria's intent to just use it as a threat and destroy like everything. So General Fredericks, aside from putting 4 men with guns around the United States defense plans, whatever those are, he also chose to put a knockout gas button in Joe Harris's office, and he also chose to create it's kind of unclear, a feature in this base that either launches missiles indiscriminately everywhere or blows up the base, or both.
So my read on it was anytime, like, this is a last resort, but if it appears that a super villain is going to win and successfully take over the Earth, what they can do or there's an automated process to send all the nukes out and just destroy the world.
General Fredericks, military mastermind.
Yeah, life under Magneto would be so bad that we might as well just destroy the world.
I guess I'll just die. It's the Mimic.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just die then. Nefaria sees the X-Men coming and blows up their shiny new jet and the lifting body that ejects from it, whatever that is. Some Chris Claremont, he knows something about airplanes.
It's an escape pod.
Leaving the X-Men plummeting to the ground. To be continued. Pat, are they going to die?
I love the issue ending here because you know that an X-Men issue that opens with them plummeting to the ground is going to whip ass.
It really is. It is. I'm excited how Cyclops comes up with another plan. Like, this is the second time he's had to plan for, okay, me and all my friends are falling from an airplane. How do we not die?
Oh boy, what an entrance, Chris Claremont.
I know. This is still Len Wein plotting. So
which is why we have Count Nefaria creating his own animal-themed men instead of hiring animal-themed B villains.
It's funny because it feels like Len Wein is like, I'm just supposed to do the X-Men, right? Oh, I know how to do the X-Men. You just bring a villain in and you have him go after the villain.
The X-Men fight him.
Right. And Chris Claremont was clearly thinking like, well, no, this is about, the evolution of these characters, and the supervillains are sort of a gateway towards character development. And that, I think that tension is really apparent here in the difference between, like, in Len Wein plotting and Chris Claremont scripting.
Yeah. There's a lot more poetic narration than you might expect for a Count Nefaria issue.
Yeah. I mean, even the Chris Claremont's first text boxes are like, it begins with an ending. It is such a little thing sometimes, but sometimes the littlest things are the hardest to bear. Again, he's just starting out with the Shakespearean, like, okay, we know it's the beginning of an issue.
I know I'm going to get so sick of it, but right now it is drawing me in. I am hooked.
I mean, the only thing that makes me happy is that clearly he's resisting the urge elsewhere, like ending the issue with endings are like small deaths that occur with all of us in all times. They happen when a day closes. They happen when a meal is fully eaten, right? Like, I like his restraint because clearly he wants to be doing this constantly.
Yeah. Couple of very good moments for this issue before we move on. Number one, the whole system of creating animal men that Count Nefaria comes up with is apparently magia science. And I have to stress, because we talked about this last time, magia is just like a mafia outfit. They're just his henchmen. He hires thugs, and now I guess he found one
that
knows how to
make animal
splice
guys.
genes. Yeah. Or maybe he found a scientist and was like, I can't give you a supervillain outfit because I'm kind of past that. But what if I make you one of the Magia?
Another great moment is when the Beast appears on the monitor, and like when
Oh my God.
all the X-Men come in, and he's like, "Hey, what happened to the X-Men?" And Professor X is like, "These are the X-Men," and he's like,
And he's looking at a room of Thunderbird and Storm and Wolverine.
and he's like, okay, if you say so."
That's what's written in the issue. Okay, if you say so.
If you say so, buddy.
Very good stuff. Can't wait to find out what Count Nefaria is up to.
Tell me.
In X-Men number 95, War Hunt. That's one word.
Yes.
Chris Claremont, writer, Len Wein, plotter, Dave Cockrum, artist, Sam Granger, inker, Karen Mantlo, letterer, Petra Goldberg, colorist, and Marv Wolfman, editor.
Ooh, goodbye, Len Wein.
Hello, Marv Wolfman.
Hi, Marv Wolfman. Thanks for coming.
Released July 22nd, 1975, cover date October 1975. The X-Men are plummeting to the ground. While falling, Cyclops tries to form a plan and then has a detailed conversation about physics with Nightcrawler, describing how his momentum will remain if he teleports and so he can't save himself.
Yeah,
Matt,
there's like two panels where they shift into conversational stances as they're falling to their death. And it's like they're having a whole dialogue about how the physics of this all works.
And the narrator is counting down. He's telling us like T-minus 63 seconds until we hit the ground. In fact, the first thing Cyclops does, because we're opening with the X-Men plummeting to the ground, is he thinks about how they got there. And the narration makes it clear that he takes exactly 10 seconds to remember all the events that led up to this moment.
Yeah, it goes from 100 seconds to 90 seconds. And then he talks to Kurt about physics for a while. And then it drops down to 63 seconds.
And then he comes up with a plan. You can argue with the process. You can't argue with the results.
Pat, could you, I'm not asking you to, do you think you could explain inertia to me in 27 seconds?
I don't think I can explain inertia to you.
Okay. I guess Nightcrawler is just, I guess he took some pretty good science classes in rural Germany.
Maybe he's tried it before, but he knows he can't save himself. So Storm carries Wolverine and Nightcrawler. Colossus, fucking sick as hell, turns to steel and plummets to the ground. He forms himself into a bullet shape to get there as quickly as possible. Banshee carries Thunderbird, and they all just leave Cyclops to fall to his death, only to be snatched up by Banshee at the last second. If you note, the artist actually makes a point of showing him kind of Cyclops spread his body out to slow his fall to give Banshee enough time to reach the ground, and then we also watch him accept his death.
right, because he's about to hit a branch. I love that is what Dave Cockrum chooses to use for this. It's like, he's getting closer and closer to these branches.
Colossus waves jovially from the giant crater he left in the ground as everyone appears to be okay.
The other thing about this is they let Cyclops fall, right? But Wolverine knows, no one else knows this. Wolverine knows his skeleton is made of adamantium. He knows he would be fine.
Yeah, and that he would heal, any damage that he sustained would heal pretty quickly.
Exactly. All his internal organs, his head, they might bash against his skeleton, right? But they're not going to be, splattered on the ground. They're going to be protected. And then he's going to heal. And he chooses to let Storm carry him in Nightcrawler and not Cyclops.
We don't know this yet.
We don't know it. Do Claremont
Len Wein or Chris Claremont know?
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
It seems like it might be a little plot armor a little later down the road.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Wolverine's healing factor increases in intensity over time too. So
Yeah,
I bet
sure.
at this moment, conceivably, he would have died if he hit the ground at this moment in his development.
Sure. We're on the ground. Cyclops has Nightcrawler teleport inside the base to do recon, and he is immediately attacked by a frogman. Nightcrawler beats his ass and drags his unconscious body away to interrogate him, but the frogman escapes when Nightcrawler looks away to open a hatch into the base. This is so fucking cool. I love this guy.
This is a great... the frogman calls Nightcrawler mutie.
Yeah.
Dude, you're a frogman! You're a frogman!
So I think this is one of those Claremont inserts where it's trying to set the tone of, like, because the frogman does address it, right? He's like, I know I'm a freak, but I'm no mutant.
Yeah. Because he's mad that Nightcrawler called him Herr Frog.
Yeah, that's German for Mr. Frog.
Thank you, Pat.
Frogman escapes while Nightcrawler opens the hatch into the base to let the X-Men in. They make their way through the base, using their powers to overcome a toxic gas cloud and a squad of hypnotized soldiers. I don't know when that happened. Before finally facing the Animal Men in full...
Pat, they're called Animen.
Okay, thank you, Matt.
Yeah, of course.
Finally facing the Animen in full force
Yes.
as a countdown clock ticks away. The X-Men actually employ teamwork, defending each other and beating some animal ass though Banshee and Thunderbird are knocked out in the process. With 9 minutes to spare, they find a self-destruct terminal and impotently try to shut it down.
You wonder what they're doing, right? Like
They just kind of look at hands on hips like,
yeah,
that clock's going down pretty fast.
Also, I love... Sorry, I'm going to jump back just a second because Cyclops... Okay, do you remember when Bobby Drake came into the X-Mansion and was like, guys, I just got attacked by a robot outside? And they're like, yeah, sure, Bobby. Whatever.
Yeah.
Looks like somebody's been eating too much ice cream.
Okay, Bobby. I also found all of your clothes outside.
That's right. And at this time, Nightcrawler comes out and he's like, I just fought a talking frogman. And Cyclops is like, oh, okay, yes.
He very sincerely believes him.
Just immediately believe, like he respects this blue man he just met more than Bobby Drake, who he's known for 10 years.
Okay. Meanwhile, Banshee and Thunderbird, having been knocked out, wake up and are feeling pretty useless and down about it until they spot Count Nefaria fleeing the base in a fighter jet. Thunderbird leaps onto the jet and starts punching it while Banshee chases and tells him to let go because his sonic screams could take care of it easily.
Yeah.
Cut back to the X-Men hammering at the computer when Professor X pops in to be like, yo, all the computer stuff was destroyed, you idiots. What are you doing in there? Go save Thunderbird.
Right? I love... This is such a good moment. Professor X is like, why are you guys doing this? It's fixed. Number one, you never told us it was fixed. Number two, how would we just assume that we smashed into enough computers and stuff that the whole thing would be over?
It is so wild that the entire problem, the entire reason the X-Men are here, is just, it's fixed now.
And Professor X is so mad that they're trying to solve the problem.
It, you idiots. To be fair, though, they are just still trying to destroy it as the countdown clock goes.
Like their hands are on it, and it's like, what is he even doing? He's just pressing buttons at random.
He's punching it.
Banging his head into it, I bet.
Okay. They all run outside, just to see John Proudstar smashing into the cockpit while Professor X, Count Nefaria, and Banshee all yell at him to let go.
Yeah, even the villain is like, "Let's go! What are you doing?"
He does not let go and holds on as the plane catches fire, plummets into the side of the mountain, and explodes. The X-Men, having saved the day, sadly walk away from the wreckage as Professor X collapses on his desk in tears as John Proudstar, Thunderbird, is dead.
That's the end of Thunderbird.
This time it's not a joke. I know a lot of times we say, and then that character died, and that's the end.
Now he's like legitimately dead.
That's really what's happening here.
Yeah. They introduced a character very respectfully. Very respectfully. They gave him a ton of respectful dialogue and respectful character moments, and then they let him go out in a very respectful manner.
They stick with the noble savage thing, so there's consistency there at least, but it's this it's the pride as a fatal flaw trope where, like, yeah, this is somebody that you would think of as a savage, but they're actually extremely prideful about who they are. Mm-hmm. In fact, they're so prideful that it's probably what's going to end up killing them.
This is Professor X's fault. He
expand on that.
Thunderbird only joined because he said, perhaps what they say is true. Perhaps the Apache are all frightened, selfish children. So
right.
Thunderbird is still trying to prove not just prove himself, but prove to the X-Men that his entire nation is brave and heroic.
I guess we're all a little better off with John Proudstar being removed from the X-Men comics.
Yeah.
It seems like they do not know how to use this character in any sort of sensitive way.
And everybody else, like Chris Claremont has this thing that Alan Moore has made fun of where when Colossus is talking, he's like, by Lenin's conception of the motherland. And when Kurt's talking, he's like, mein Gott, the steel eagle of... No, he probably doesn't say that. That's bad.
No.
And everybody's constantly referencing their heritage.
Referencing their homeland. Yeah.
But everybody else has these full characters where John Proudstar, his like whole character was based around these Native American tropes. And like you said, noble savage tropes. And this one idea of Professor X calling him a coward. That's his whole
calling
thing.
His people cowards.
Yeah. Do you know why they decided to take Thunderbird out?
I don't know.
It's just because they had two grumpy men on the team. There wasn't room for Wolverine and Thunderbird on the same team. Is like legitimately the reason.
Wild. Because that was what sprung Wolverine's popularity in the first place. Was he was like the dark and violent type.
Yeah, I don't know that he had that popularity yet. I don't know that he gets it until like around John Byrne's run. But they liked Wolverine more than they liked Thunderbird. Because Wolverine's a character and Thunderbird was a racist stereotype.
Yeah. Wolverine gets a really good moment here where he calls Gort, the Gorilla Man, Road Company Hulk. Very much like, okay, if we take the Avengers on the road, go town to town in a traveling show, this is the guy that would play Hulk.
In this issue, they talk about the Doomsmith as just a self-destruct.
Yeah. I think there's probably a few functions here, right? Okay. There's
it shoots a bunch of missiles and half of them come back and hit itself.
Oh, yeah. So I think there's the ideal option, which is you press the button and it blows up the specific thing you want to blow up. There's the fail-safe option, which is it just automatically blows up the entire world if a supervillain wins. And then there's a third option in case of a villain takeover where you self-destruct the whole thing. The irony being that the villain is the one that uses the self-destruct.
Yeah, he does it by accident, though.
Yeah, the machinery here is stupid.
What do you like better, Doomsmith or Warhunt? Yeah, man, I wish I felt more emotional about the death of John Proudstar.
Yeah.
I know it'll affect the X-Men forever, but fuck, this moment is stupid. I mean, it is literally, you know what it is? It is the kid running with a knife YouTube video.
One of my all-time favorites.
What do you got there? A knife! And it's if that video immediately after he was running with the knife and she yelled no, he stabbed himself in the face and died. That is what this is. It is a kid running with a knife. It is him. They're like, everyone's like, stop punching the airplane. And he's like, no. Like, what are you doing, Proudstar? I'm punching an airplane. No.
We, just for what it's worth, we synced on a knife way better than we've ever synced on Welcome to Mutant Menace.
Say it with us, Pete.
The other thing about his death here is just like, if you remove the racism, please remove the racism. But if you remove the racism from it, he just doesn't earn it, right? He comes aboard 2 issues earlier. He hates everybody. He's trying to pick fights with anyone that talks to him, and then just goes off and dies
like a toddler. Yeah.
And dies, I mean, somewhat heroic. Like, I get he's sacrificing
like a very heroic toddler. He
doesn't have to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not earned. There's no emotion here that really, like, there's no attachment for the reader.
You know what's worse is that Count Nefarious survives this.
Ugh.
I don't think we ever see him again in the X-Men.
Yeah.
But maybe we do. I don't know. But he becomes like a regular Marvel villain while John Proudstar is fucking dead. Like, he's gone. So,
yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't know about like recent years, but he's at least dead for like 50 years. So almost 50 years, 40
which
years.
Which is wild. Who dies for that long? Let's keep going.
On to issue 96, Night of the Demon.
Ooh.
Written by CHRIS CLAREMONT, drawn by Dave Cockrum, inked by Sam Granger, lettered by Dave Hunt, colored by Phil Rachelson, edited by Marv Wolfman, with a plotting assist from Bill Mantlo.
Interesting.
Released on September 23rd, 1975, Cyclops is wandering through the forest in mid-autumn, ruminating on his guilt over Thunderbird's death while the narrator taunts him about it.
Yeah, he's going back and forth with the narrator.
In response, he unleashes a massive optic blast, leveling a portion of forest and cracking some weird mystical cairn, which he doesn't seem to notice. It starts to glow.
Okay, we'll get to it. He calls himself Mr. here, which is
how
you know he's
Mr.
really going through it.
Wait, do we want to get to it now? Why does he not notice the fucking glowing cairn in the middle of an empty, destroyed forest? It's the only thing left standing.
Why is it there in Westchester, in the woods of Westchester, New York?
I don't know. It's the most bizarre setup to a plot ever, which we'll find out. Okay. Back in the Danger Room, the X-Men are training when Wolverine gets mad and tries to legit kill Nightcrawler for laughing at him.
Wild.
Yeah.
He needs to... That's why he's here. He just got to control his temper, his animalistic nature.
Yeah. But nobody's like, hey, this guy actually tried to murder our best friend. All right. Xavier tells Banshee he's worried about Scott, but is interrupted by his new mysterious housekeeper showing up. Banshee answers the door, thinking to himself that it's going to be some shrewish old woman, but he opens the door to find a young, tough, hard-talking Scottish babe named Moira MacTaggert.
Moira MacTaggert.
Moira's here
Fucking Moira MacTaggert.
Moira MacTaggert.
Dream woman.
Dream
Right?
woman. Hey, you're either a Mary Jane guy or a Moira MacTaggert guy.
And she's a housekeeper. That's interesting. I didn't know that's how she got her start.
Oh yeah, maybe she's. Yeah, do you think that's what she's doing here? Is keeping house? Well, Professor X said it, so it has to be true.
Yeah.
Cut to a secret installation in the Adirondack Mountains where Dr. Stephen Lang is arguing with Colonel Mike Rossi about Project Armageddon, an illegal billion-dollar project Lang has been working on for 6 years to kidnap and study the X-Men, intending to carry on the work of Dr. Bolivar Trask. What? Do you have a problem with this, Pat?
Fuck her.
Rossi denounces the project as a witch hunt and storms off to have Washington put an end to it. As Lang watches him walk away, he vows Rossi will never reach Washington alive, and a familiar, perfectly sculpted, sexy purple leg frames the panel. Sculpted ass just out of frame.
Damn it.
That night, back at the mansion, the X-Men are getting familiar with Moira MacTaggert. I didn't mean to say it that way, Pat.
They're knowing her.
They're just talking to her. Because Professor X reveals that he's going away and leaving her in charge.
Fucking...
Did he not learn his lesson when he did this with the Changeling?
The man says, here's my housekeeper. Everybody get to know her because I'm leaving, but she is in charge. I'm leaving. None of you. The new housekeeper that I just hired.
The woman that I called a housekeeper. The woman that's here to, like, clean the house.
She's in charge. And also, she will keep your secrets to her grave.
Well, it's worth saying. They're hanging out. There's like hanging out in the foyer or whatever, or like the den, and in full costume still.
Also, yeah, they just wander around the mansion in costume.
So all of them except for Banshee, Sean Cassidy, and he is actually asking Moira out.
Ooh.
On a date when Cyclops flies through the wall, all fucked up.
What?
The X-Men barely have time to get their bearings before a giant pink monster with one eye, wings, talons, and a forked tongue bursts in, calling itself Keirrok, the Shatterer of Souls, Keirrok, the Slayer of Men, Keirrok, the Damned, and telling them he wants their souls. He starts smashing people and tells them he's at Ngarai, one of the elder gods. I guess Claremont been reading a bit of Lovecraft at that moment or something. The X-Men all fight him one by one until Wolverine kills him. So it's all fine. End of the issue. No!
Oh.
He reforms, sucking the life energies from everyone in the room, and they all suddenly look old. And it's very funny.
Wolverine turns to Cyclops and says, "Hey man, this is crazy."
And then, yeah, in the next panel, they all look old and sad, and we see Cyclops' saggy nipples. Professor X tries to probe Keirrok's mind, but gets all fucked up trying, so Banshee tells the X-Men to run, and Sonic screams the demon guy. Moira even gets in on the action, emerging from the armory.
From the what?
Oh, the armory?
The Xavier Mansion armory.
Yeah, I remember when they all used to go, the X-Men used to grab their guns from the armory and shoot Blob.
Just rocking double pistols. Would have made Warren a lot more effective.
Oh my god, he didn't have to. He's been shooting ping pong balls this whole time. When all the while there was like an AK-47 in the armor, and nobody. This is one of those doors that Scott Summers was like, I don't know what's in there, but I'm not opening it.
I'm not allowed in there. And for good reason, because Moira emerges with a machine gun.
Yes. Professor X eventually figures out that Keirrok cannot be destroyed directly, so he has Storm fly off to the cairn and destroy him at his source of power. He came from the cairn, if that wasn't clear. A bunch of demons leap out and try to pull her in, triggering some traumatic memory of being buried in rubble. Wonder what that's about. So she flips out and destroys the cairn from the inside out. Keirrok turns into dust, making him a loser league candidate immediately.
Ooh, 2-in-1 episode.
Because he comes out and he's got all these titles for himself. He's like, I am the eater of souls. I am the destroyer of man. I am the shatterer of the world. And I'm dead now. Like, that's so loser league.
You blew up my cookie jar.
Guess I gotta die. Before the issue closes, we get one panel of a crashed plane with somebody screaming that Colonel Mickey Rossi was dead in the wreckage.
Ooh.
This is our first full Claremont issue. No Len Wein.
Yo, full whiplash on this, right?
Yeah.
A couple... Count Nefaria unleashes an army of frogmen in the Len Wein plotted issue.
Yeah.
And then we get CHRIS Claremont full creative control, and we go into ancient demons emerging from the woods and eating souls.
Yeah.
And this is what's so fucking cool, Matt, is they start hinting at Lang and the return of the Sentinels.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't come up next issue. This is the first seed that we're seeing planted here, as well as the stuff like Storm's trauma. I think there's another good moment here that kind of refers to clearly a story that they want to tell at some point in the future.
Well, Moira MacTaggert.
Yeah,
right?
Moira MacTaggert. We don't learn anything about her. Like, they're not closing any loops here, but they're not leaving loose ends. Like, the writing here leaves you confident that, this is a thread that needs to be unraveled at some point.
Also, why is Professor X going away? That's another thread.
Yeah, where the fuck is he going?
This is a good Wolverine issue. He kills.
He does.
Which is what he does. He plays plays tic-tac-toe with himself
Right.
on a table that he's scratching in with his own claws.
Pretty easy to win that way.
He says your favorite catchphrase.
Oh, I'm so disappointed.
Why?
Don't say it.
He says Holy Hannah. And this is also a great Cyclops. So here's the thing. Cyclops already, right? We're 3 issues into Claremont, and he already has way more characterization than he's had the entirety of the previous, 12 years?
60-some issues.
I think this entire issue is this sort of metaphor, right? Of Scott Summers. He unleashes a demon that almost destroys the team by losing his temper completely. This entire time, it's been this stupid, dumb shit. Like, okay, yeah, Cyclops has these destructive powers, and he thinks he's going to kill his girlfriend by accident.
Yeah.
Like, he's so tortured because he could destroy everything. And CHRIS Claremont has him actually, comes up with a way that it makes sense for Cyclops to actually do it. So we learn that this whole buttoned up, emotionless Cyclops thing is because he has to, right? As a leader, if he doesn't keep his emotions in check, people will get killed, like what he's upset about at the beginning of the issue, like what happened to Thunderbird. And as a mutant, if he doesn't keep control of his emotions, he can wreak havoc on the world.
Yeah, I mean, on a more surface level, he's got to fight his demons on this issue.
That's true.
Also, his literal belief in demons that we saw like 10 years ago, is validated here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
One last comment
Mhm.
on me. One last comment about me. One last comment from me on this one. We haven't talked about Dave Cockrum's art very much. It's very good, but
Mhm.
he's also doing some Don Martin level onomatopoeia here.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. If you have the issue open, Matt, can you read a few fun
Oh my
sound
god.
effects?
Okay, so when when Moira fires the machine gun, it goes brrrp, BRRRP. Brrrp. When Nightcrawler hits Keirrok, it goes brap, crumph.
Yes, that's the good stuff. That's what I'm talking about.
When Colossus hits him, it goes katakoom.
Katakoom.
Yeah. Zarakow is what it is when Cyclops bursts into the room.
What if I cut that up so that you're just saying the sound effects? Kapow!
Pat, neither of us should ever cut up each other's voices to take our words out of context.
In our butt.
What?
In our butt. Stop. Take that off the soundboard.
Pat, why don't you tell me about the next issue?
Okay. I'm very excited to X-Men number 97, My Brother, My Enemy. Chris Claremont writer, Dave Cockrum artist, Sam Granger inker, Annette K letterer, Don Warfield colorist, Marv Wolfman editor. Release date November 25th, 1975. Cover date February 1976.
1976?
That's right, Matt. Welcome to the bicentennial.
We're in the future.
We open on Professor X having a little nightmare and freaking out about it. He's apparently been seeing some space battle in his dreams for months and waking up in a cold sweat. He makes his way downstairs and confides in Moira that he thinks he's going mad.
More fucking Claremont. The Bard of Avon said, to sleep, perchance, to dream.
Oh, my God.
Just say sleeping, it's fine!
Meanwhile, Alex and Lorna are back in their little house in New Mexico where they've apparently been just kissing and studying for their doctorates for 6 months. Good for them.
Good
When
for
Alex-
them!
When Alex leaves, some shadowy figure knocks at the door and then shoots Lorna with a blast.
What the fuck?
When Alex runs back, he finds her holding a brand new costume and calling herself Polaris before blasting him.
Polaris?
I know.
She's Polaris now. I never clocked before that Polaris was like her villain name, and she just keeps it.
Yeah, but it's a sick name. It really, it fits.
Yeah, I'm glad Roy Thomas didn't cut, because he would have called her like he would have called her
Magneta.
Yeah, I was gonna say he would have
Yeah,
called
yeah.
her Magnesia.
3 days later, Jean Grey and some of the X-Men are seeing Professor X off at the airport into a Starcore airplane.
Wait,
Where have we heard that name before?
yeah, Starcore? All right, well, anyway.
Kurt, by the way, is using an image inducer from Tony Stark that makes him look like Errol Flynn, which the professor criticizes him for.
Yeah, stop doing that.
It's very cute.
Well, he tells Jean to tell him to. He's like, can you tell Kurt to stop doing that?
We didn't get this to look like movie stars. Just look like a normal man. Anyway, suddenly, Havoc and Polaris show up and start blasting Jean and saying they're after Professor X. The Starcore airplane takes off as the X-Men change into costume and attack their former friends. Havoc is about to shoot the plane out of the sky when Nightcrawler tackles him and makes him blow up an empty 747, which seems to snap him out of whatever hypnosis he's been in, as Cyclops grabs his brother and starts screaming at him. Eric the fucking Red
What?
steps out and attacks them.
Boy, that is Cyclops, I thought.
That's what Cyclops says.
That's Cyclops' sexy outfit. Where did whoever this is get Cyclops' sexy boy outfit?
It seems like Eric the Red put on pants this time. But other than that, yeah, this is sexy Cyclops.
I hate Eric the Red. He is my least favorite X-Men villain, no matter who he is, because he's so many different people in so many different times, and I always hate him.
How the fuck is this happening? What? Okay. Storm tries to fly the unconscious Jean to safety, but Polaris flies after her using the same gravity-canceling shtick as she did to Krakoa.
Yeah.
After almost dropping Jean, Storm puts her on
Remember,
a roof.
Remember last episode when I said, wait, so then it also doesn't make sense to me why she can fly. I wasn't just, so apparently I wasn't just making that up in my memory. They do use the exact same logic.
Yeah.
So that must be the logic as to why Magneto can fly? Or no, he can fly because he has metal in his clothes, right?
Yes, I think he controls, or maybe he
Yeah.
just has little metal balls in his hand that he floats.
And he's got really, really good forearm strength.
Yeah, he's got 2 marbles and he's just
wonder how he got
the whole time.
Wonder how he got that forearm strength, Pat.
After almost dropping Jean, Storm puts Jean down on a roof and then goes after Polaris, blasting her out of the fucking sky. Nightcrawler and Colossus, meanwhile, beat Eric the Red's whole ass, knocking him unconscious too. Nearby, Alex tells Cyclops he's under some kind of mind control, and while trying to fight it, he sees Lorna collapse, which breaks his focus. He blasts his brother point blank and runs to her. Eric the Red wakes up just in time to see Banshee and Wolverine show up in some dorky jet.
Yeah.
So he grabs Havoc and Polaris and flies away.
I think it's the Fantastic car that the X-Men have.
The little ripoff they have?
Yeah, I think it's that. It looks like that.
Wolverine yells at Scott to blast him out of the sky, calling him a coward when he can't shoot his own brother. So Cyclops backhands him.
It's so good.
Ugh. Wolverine
knocks him straight to the fucking ground.
Yeah, that man knows how to deliver a backhand. Wolverine pops his claws out, but is cowed by Storm.
Yeah, I think this is the beginning of sort of this Wolverine Storm, this respect that Wolverine has for Storm. Because she's just like, you are not going to do that, or you have to answer to me. Yeah, and he just puts his claws away.
He eats it. Yeah. Then we pull back to see this all being watched on a black and white TV screen by Stephen fucking Lang.
What?
Who is himself being watched on a color TV screen by who knows?
Whoa. It's like a red hand with looks like Spider-Woman's costume, but on the forearm. A lot of forearms.
Oh yeah, that's an interesting way to describe it.
I honestly don't know who that. I've read this and I don't know who that is. I've read all of these issues. I've read the entire Claremont run. I don't know who that is. So what we have to do, Pat, in the next several issues is keep a real close eye for that pattern. Because I don't think anybody ever really addresses it straight up.
Interesting. What, for the who that hand is?
Yeah, who's watching Stephen Lang watching the X-Men?
Okay. What did you think?
This issue's pretty good. I don't know. It's got the Professor X nightmares, which are kind of wild. I don't like Eric the Red.
Sure.
But it's got some cool characterization. It feels like a middle issue. It feels like it's going somewhere.
Well, the thing that drives me crazy here, I think in a good way, is we just opened up 3 more threads. You didn't close 3 of the threads from last issue that you left open, but you opened 3 more here with why is Eric the Red here, and why is he who the fuck is he, and why is he after Charles Xavier?
Why is he mind controlling Havoc and Polaris? Who, by the way, second time Polaris gets mind controlled.
Yes.
Number 1. Number 2, everyone calls him Havoc with a C in this issue, and it pisses me off.
Oh yeah, that's stupid.
I hate it.
We have the thread of Professor X's weird dream where a alien bug man is coming for him. And then we have somebody watching Lang, the open thread from last issue. Yeah. There's just another level of complexity to that.
And we don't know if any of those, like some of those might be tied together, but we don't know at that point. If you are reading this, it's like me playing Blueprints. You're just writing down question after question after question. And you're like, I hope I eventually can solve these. That would be terrifying though, right? To just keep having the same dream every single night where you're in some place you've never been.
Matt.
Yeah? What, Pat?
You and I just talked about this. I have been dreaming of the same location over and over again.
That is true. It is pretty crazy that, yeah, we were literally just talking about this.
No, there's no bug alien men in my dreams usually, but...
What makes you think it's a bug alien man?
Like, that's just my word for humanoid shape, which is what I see it as. Stop looking at me like that. But yeah, this is something I can't get over, where I have different dreams every night, but they're all taking place in the same strange area that I've never been to. If you know anything about this, if you've dreamed of this location, mutantmenacepod@gmail.com.
Well, describe the location.
It's a phenomenon. It's sort of like I'm staying at a hotel sometimes, or no, it's not my house. It's distinctly not my house, but half of the hotel is also my office, where I work, which I work remotely. I don't actually work in an office, but in my dreams, this is my office. And then down the street, there's a little like shopping center that has a hip coffee spot.
So
and it's kind of a hilly area. It's kind of beachy maybe, or mountainy.
So if any of you know of a hotel that's near beaches or mountains that has a hotel in it and a coffee shop, or has an office in it and a coffee shop down the street, email mutantmenacepod@gmail.com.
Please, if you've seen this location, or if you've experienced this phenomenon where you're always dreaming in this specific place, please let me know. We'll connect.
I've had that, but not somewhere that I haven't been. Did I pick up what?
Did you pick up that Banshee is spending time with Mrs. MacTaggert?
I know. So you put this note in, and I immediately went back to her introduction because I was like, does he say Mrs. MacTaggert? And he does.
He does.
Professor Charles Xavier says Mrs. Moira MacTaggert. And 2 panels later, Banshee refers to her as Mistress MacTaggert.
He's putting the question in there.
It's the secret.
If
you meet a married woman that you wish was single, you just manifest, oh, she's not married, and she'll stop being so. I think there is an explanation for this eventually, but yeah. One more thing before we move on.
Yeah.
This is also the second time. So remember when Havoc sees Lorna get blasted and so then just absolutely wrecks Scott immediately? This is the second time this has happened to Scott, where one of his best friends has seen Lorna Dane get hurt and then fought him immediately. Immediately was like, I have to fight Scott Summers about this. It's the same thing.
Bobby Drake was the first, right?
Yeah, exactly. One of the
Havoc, Bobby Drake, they don't like each other, but they're more similar than they know.
It's gonna be a Pavlovian response where Cyclops sees Lorna Dane get a splinter, and he cowers. Don't beat my ass! Don't beat my ass!
He sees her trip and he says, "I'm not a baby."
All right, X-Men number 98.
Ooh.
Merry Christmas, X-Men. The Sentinels have returned!
No, not on Christmas.
Chris Claremont, writer, Dave Cockrum, artist, Sam Granger, inker, Joe Rosen, letterer, Janice Cohen, colorist, Marv Wolfman, editor, released January 20th, 1976. Christmas time is here!
Oh. We get a beautiful opening splash page of the Rockefeller Plaza at Christmas. It is the rendering of it is just really beautiful. It is a very scenic picture.
Dave Cockrum took some time on this, and clearly he used a photo reference, and it's working into the art.
Yeah. And he also snuck Nick Fury into the bottom right corner of the page.
And Dr. Doom is ice skating in the ice skating rink.
Ooh, good catch.
The X-Men are out of costume. This is the first time we see Wolverine with no costume on, and his hair is shaped like his ears.
Well, yeah,
His mask
that's why his mask is shaped like that.
So that it doesn't mess up his hair.
I really, for years and years, did think that that's why Wolverine's mask was shaped like that, just to accommodate his funky haircut.
I think when I was a kid, I thought it was that because he wears that mask all the time, it's like hat hair. Like his hair turned into that shape.
Or he just gets his hair cut that way because it's easier.
Patty does not look 19 here. I'll say that.
That's true.
So
dropping the teenager stuff here.
The X-Men are out of costume, enjoying a snowy holiday in a Big Apple on Fifth Avenue. I don't know why it says that. It says they're in a Big Apple. Clearly they're in New York City. It doesn't make any sense.
This is just another one of those threads left open.
CHRIS Claremont came up with this idea that all of existence is inside a Big Apple, I guess. I don't know. They're in New York. I know where New York is.
Let's get past the second sentence of this recap.
Jean is teasing Aurora and Scott for being too dour on Christmas. Kurt and Peter are catcalling two women. One named Betsy and Pat. The other one is named Amanda. A strawberry blonde woman named Amanda?
Pretty common in New York.
We'll see if we ever see a strawberry blonde Amanda in this comic again. Sean and Moira are seeing the sights of New York. Wolverine goes off to sulk alone, and Stan Lee and Jack Kirby complain about Scott and Jean kissing. That actually happens in the panels of this comic.
This has to be either Stan Lee or Jack Kirby saying something, either privately or publicly, about a kiss appearing in the comics, right?
Oh, and they're
and then a gray area for the Comics Code Authority,
and then they're making fun of them.
Yeah. This is
it's gotta
revenge.
Be. All this is hastily interrupted when the Sentinels return. Jean and Scott, having much stronger powers than the Sentinels are programmed for, blast one's ass before another gasses Jean and flies off with her, leaving Scott hanging from a collapsing antenna, Luke Skywalker style.
They've got that same knockout gas.
Yeah, they still
knockout gas era.
But other than that, they look super different. They don't have the numbers on their head. They're bigger and more imposing. They this is just like this interesting thing where Claremont just keeps taking these old concepts and tweaking them to make them just subtly tweaking them in little ways, but making them 1,000 times better.
Like their ass is a little less defined.
It literally is. There is a scene with the Sentinel ass, and it kind of just looks like round. Seeing the falling Sentinel, Banshee, Wolverine, and Storm leap into action. Storm zaps a man who calls her, quote, black chick, with a lightning bolt as she flies off to save Cyclops and absolutely thrash the remaining Sentinel's ass with a hurricane. This is where Cyclops is like, he gives just this quiet, oh my God.
Yeah. He is in awe.
Yeah. Which is such a fucking good moment. Cyclops tells her that off panel, a bunch more Sentinels took Banshee and Wolverine and immediately worries about Professor X. Daddy's boy much? Meanwhile, Professor Charles Xavier is off fishing and talking about his alien dreams with Dr. Peter Corbeau of StarCorps. That's where... Yeah, okay.
They're in a StarCorps boat.
Oh, God, is Dr. Peter Corbeau Never mind, I'm not even going to say it. Corbeau is telling him that his dreams are just dreams when a Sentinel bursts from the water. Xavier repels him with a mind blast, but then is struck by another waking alien dream, leaving him unprepared for a second Sentinel to smash through the boat. The Sentinel kidnaps Xavier, leaving Peter Corbeau stranded in the ocean 200 miles from shore. 4 days later, I love that he keeps doing this, telling us how many days it's been.
Yeah.
Stephen Lang visits the kidnapped mutants chained to slabs in a laboratory. The computers have been getting strange readings from Wolverine, who's, by the way, shirtless and gloveless. I think this is intentional.
To show off his rockin' bod?
Maybe. But they're all pretty sure he's still a mutant, and besides, his chrome alloy bonds are unbreakable. Nothing to worry about. However, when Jean calls Lang a Nazi and a, quote, sad, pathetic, screwed up little man, fuck yeah, Jean.
Yeah.
Lang slaps her, which makes Wolverine pop his claws from his actual forearms, not his gloves, his hands, his arms.
Yeah.
And starts carving through fools trying to get to Lang. He takes out a whole Sentinel by himself and then frees Banshee and Jean. Banshee is shocked that Wolverine's claws are actually a part of his body and not his gloves.
So is Len Wein.
Nice! The three of them, unable to free Xavier, carve their way through about half a dozen Sentinels and out through the wall of the lab. They're home free, Pat. But
they made it. They broke out of the lab.
Yeah. But Banshee's scream cuts off suddenly for some reason. I don't know. Back at home, Cyclops has been up searching for his missing teammates for 4 days with no sign of them anywhere on Earth. Kurt tries to get him to take a break. Again, adorable Nightcrawler.
Oh.
But they're interrupted by a man climbing over their garden wall. That man, it turns out, and we'll have to talk in depth about this, is Dr. Peter Corbeau. And as they warm his freezing body up, he tells them that it makes sense that Scott couldn't find the X-Men anywhere on Earth because we cut to Wolverine, Jean, and Banshee floating in the void of space because they're not on Earth at all. All right.
What a twist. Real
Corbeau's,
quick, before we touch on the Corbeau stuff, which deserves its own in-depth analysis.
It deserves its own fucking podcast.
What a twist. This really got me the cut to the final panel where, Banshee, Wolverine, and Jean are just floating in space as the caption carries over Peter Corbeau's dialogue that they're not on Earth at all. This was what a final panel twist.
Yeah, really, really, really good. This whole issue fucking whips ass, dude. Even though it's instead of just the Sentinels flying or whatever, they all have to tell us they're doing ultra linear leaps.
Right.
Okay, Peter Corbeau. His boat gets smashed. He left in the middle of the ocean, right? And he says, looks bad, chum. You're 200 miles from land, and if no one heard your mayday, it's going to be one long swim. When next we see him, he's climbing over the walls of the Xavier mansion.
Nude and still wet.
Well, he's got a hat on and he does have clothes on. But if you had just driven here in a cab or something, number one, okay, fucking, all right, fine, all right. If you had just driven here in a cab or something from your house, right, no one would put you in a blanket and give you a cup of tea to warm up, right?
Right.
Second of all, why wouldn't you just come to the front door? Why climb over the wall at all?
Why is he climbing the fence?
Why is he climbing the fence? So the fact that they're warming him up makes me think that he's wet under those clothes. So my only assumption that I can make here is that Dr. Peter Corbeau swam 200 miles to shore and then walked all the way to New York, stealing clothes and a hat on his way.
And Westchester is pretty far inland.
So he's still dripping wet. Somehow walking all the way to Westchester, New York in stolen clothes. That's the only
have anyone he can call.
Even then, why climb the fence?
This guy's goofy. How do you get in charge of Star Corps? It kills me that he's got a Star Corps fishing boat too. It's the official fishing boat of this military operation.
He founded it himself, I guess.
Damn, good for him.
All right.
All right. Should we move on to X-Men number 99? Death Star Rising.
Are they allowed to just...
I said the same thing, but we're actually about a year from the release of Star Wars.
No fucking way.
CHRIS CLAREMONT, author, Dave Cockrum, artist, Frank Chiara, inker, Irving W, letterer. That's not a prank. That's a real person, Irving W.
They must have for a long time been like, sorry, we can't hire anyone named Irving. And then
Michelle...
Marv Wolfman was finally like, we have to end that because this is the 1970s. A lot of Irvings are applying.
Michelle W, colorist, Marv Wolfman, editor. Release date March 16th, 1976. Cover June 1976. Banshee, Jean Grey, and Wolverine are quickly pulled from the vacuum of space back into Stephen Klang. Back into Stephen Klang.
Stephen Klang.
Back into Stephen Lang's space station by Sentinels using. Did you see what they call these little orbs they shoot around them that provide air to them? Atmospheres.
God, this was Roy Thomas calling CHRIS CLAREMONT every single night and saying, I've got one. And Chris is like, no, I'm not going to put atmospheres in my... Fine, if you'll stop calling me.
Fine. I'll call them atmospheres. I'm not doing any of this other shit. No robo boots. No propello taunts.
I already did ultra linear leap for you.
Cyclops and Dr. Peter Corbeau are doing some research, discovering that the Sentinels have taken their friends to S.H.I.E.L.D.'s orbital platform.
Weird.
Meanwhile, the news informs us of anti-mutant riots, unusual solar activity, the firebombing of the home of Judge Chalmers.
Jesus Christ.
And a sudden Star Wars space launch.
It's so much. Well, first of all, Pat Geraldo Rivera is here.
He is. He's reporting that. That's problematic.
Geraldo Rivera's in this one.
He was a prominent journalist at the time. It wasn't until later that he went on to be incredibly racist.
And CHRIS CLAREMONT loves to put actual journalists in his books. Mostly NPR people, but yeah.
I was going to say, I'll bet we'll find some more canceled journalists.
It is wild how on this one page they set up so much just from one news report.
Aboard this space shuttle with Dr. Corbeau, Cyclops, Storm, and Colossus battle their own anxieties, while Nightcrawler is just goddamn thrilled to be there. Cyclops is afraid of losing Jean, Storm is having some sort of mysterious anxiety, and Colossus is panicking, thinking of his brother Mikhail, who died during a failed shuttle launch years ago.
I missed that too in my first reading of this, and that is very interesting. Colossus has a brother named Mikhail. Mikhail, presumably Rasputin.
Does that, well, I guess we'll see if that comes back up.
We'll see.
As the X-Men blast into space, we cut to a small village in Ireland where a man mails off a letter to Sean Cassidy, only to be shot dead by a blast from a shillelagh 4 panels later by someone claiming to be Banshee's cousin.
Oh, man.
I believe he names himself here, right? He does. He
it's Black Tom.
He calls himself Black Tom.
Do we also get a name? Oh yeah, the guy who the solicitor Flaherty.
Yes, Solicitor Flaherty.
Yeah.
2-panel lifespan. In space, the X-Men approach Lang's base and are immediately attacked by Sentinels, causing Storm to get sucked out into space through a hole in the hull.
Wait, Pat, yeah, that's all true. I'm not arguing with any of that, but...
Thank you.
Dude, that's another thread that's getting added.
Absolutely. Yeah. Who the fuck is Black Tom?
Yeah.
Back in space, the X-Men approach Lang's base and are immediately attacked by Sentinels, causing Storm to get sucked out into space through a hole in the hull. Colossus, who earlier ripped his spacesuit to shreds, is apparently suffocating, so they ram into the base and leap out, fucking up like 5 Sentinels real quick.
Yeah.
We learn that these Sentinels aren't shit compared to the old ones. Yeah. Outside, Storm learns she can control solar winds.
Well, which, yeah, Pat, as we all know, are streams of charged particles emitting from the sun, not currents of air, meaning she now, I guess, can direct solar energy?
Right.
What?
I guess.
Just because it's called wind?
It's a type of weather, Matt. It's space weather. She can control space weather as well as she can control Earth weather.
If her weather powers have nothing to do with the atmosphere, then what the fuck? Okay.
She's very powerful.
This actually feeds into a theory I have, which is that mutants, their power is because so many mutant powers make so little sense, right?
Yeah.
Scientifically. So it must be a psychological thing, right? Like a mutant power must be this ability to control all energy and matter, right? That just, if you're a mutant, you can do anything. But you have a psychological block that forms early on that determines for you what the limits of your power are. And that's why you do things like, oh, it's called wind. I can control that too. No, you couldn't if your power was to control weather. But if your power is to do anything, but you think your power is to control weather, and you think of this as weather, you can.
That's so interesting, Matt. I mean that sincerely. Okay. I hope that didn't sound sarcastic. That is a very good theory. We're getting really far down, off the path here, but Mark Waid, his series Irredeemable, which is essentially Superman goes evil,
right,
explores this concept of Superman's not actually super strong. He's not actually super fast. With all the things he can do, his power is actually just to manipulate matter in any way that he wants, to the extent that like he can even manipulate space and time. And he just hasn't realized that that is ultimately his power. All he sees it as is punching real hard and flying.
I've never read Irredeemable, but that's the only possible way to make sense of most superpowers, I find.
Yeah.
Is if the only thing limiting you is your own psychology, and you actually have like a godlike power.
So, with this power, Storm is able to blast a Sentinel off into space before rejoining the X-Men in the space station. Colossus loses his shit with joy and almost hugs her to death.
So good, right? Like another thing, this friendship between Colossus and Storm already forming, the friendship between Nightcrawler and everybody already forming, the respect that Wolverine has for Storm already forming. This is so good. I'm gonna cry.
There's also, it's not a spat, but a disagreement here between Colossus and the rest of the team about like, Storm's out in space. We might still have a chance to save her, while the rest of the team is saying, "Hey, we're here on a mission." It's very Colossus to think about it in such a personal way.
It is not Colossus though to say, "You act even as if you do not even care." Will Colossus care? It's very unlike Colossus to refer to himself in the third person.
Yeah, I hope that goes away soon. Jean sends Cyclops directions telepathically, and he orders everyone else to go save Banshee and Wolverine, while he and Dr. Corbeau go save Jean and Professor X. Scott finds them and nearly beats Stephen Lang to death before he's shot in the back by a familiar Zack. Moments later, the new X-Men come face to face with the 5 original X-Men.
What?
To be continued.
Wow. And here's the thing about that, Pat. That's a cool ending. And you can only do that once.
What do you mean?
Oh, pitting the new team against the old team like this. You can only do that once.
Yeah. You can't go back to that well.
No, you can't. You can't. It would be absolutely absurd for them to do it a second time ever, right? Like, this is... Yeah. So... I don't know why I'm even talking about this, but you can only do that once. And that's just what I think is interesting. I was just thinking about that.
Yeah. Well, if this is the one time they do it, they nailed it.
Yeah.
Another fucking sick splash page. Again, we haven't spent too much time talking about Dave Cockrum, but he is So character-wise, he's putting more detail and emotion into their faces than we've ever seen. He's also depicting most of them as like a little dark and brooding all the time. But I think friend of the podcast, Alex Goldman, mentioned it last episode. His backgrounds, especially in space, are very Jack Kirby. Just very colorful, very complex, a lot of sharp angles in sort of a psychedelic format. It's really something to behold.
You know, I think Dave Cockrum is this perfect bridge between the old way of drawing comics and then like the Silver Age way of drawing comics and the Bronze Age way of drawing comics, right? Like he is equal parts Jack Kirby and John Byrne. He takes clearly a lot of inspiration from Neil Adams, and you know, in some ways he's kind of like the missing link between like Sal Buscema and John Buscema, or like or like Joe Kubert and the Q Bert Kids, right? Like he's almost like he's stuck in this middle generation that
from the Atari game, the Q Bert Kids.
Yeah, that was my favorite. That's my favorite cartoon show growing up. Yeah. I think it's interesting because he does these full figures the way that and these sort of like poses the way that Silver Age comics do, but he does these cinematic shots the way that Bronze Age comics will.
Yeah. He also loves breasts.
Hey, me and you, same team.
One thing I meant to mention this actually last issue, and it's very pertinent in this issue too. Jean is really getting some characterization here. She is standing up. She tells Wolverine to like get his shit together. She's essentially leading this little group, a separated group of X-Men.
She's the senior member here.
Yeah, she is. And she's not even on the team right now, but she's the one that's commanding Wolverine, who listens up and respects her, and Banshee, who is smart enough not to argue. But they give her some real independence here. She just takes over leadership. Unfortunately, they make her do it in a mini skirt,
which Wolverine rips.
Wolverine, slices her dress off at the.
He doesn't even slice it. He doesn't use his claws. He grabs it with his hands and rips it.
He's an animal.
He's just he's no different than Spider-Man at this point, though.
That's fair.
People just lose their shit around Jean Grey, I guess.
When Storm wrecks that Sentinel, they say that the Sentinel screams like a man. What's going on there?
I don't fucking know, man.
Okay.
All right. X-Men number 100. What the fuck? Pat, we've done 100 issues of X-Men.
No, we have not. This is a fraud. There are 28 numbered issues here that are just reprints.
Greater love hath no X-Man. Chris Claremont, author. Dave Cockrum, artist. Annette K, letterer. Bonnie W, colorist. Marv Wolfman, editor. Release date, May 18th, 1976. The issue opens with the 5 original X-Men in their pre-Dark Era costumes. And Professor X, squaring off against the new recruits Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Storm, Colossus, and Banshee, with Stephen Lang, head of Project Armageddon, watching on a screen and laughing maniacally.
Ugh.
In a 2-page splash page, the fight is joined by Havoc and Lorna as Xavier calls for blood, and Storm and Nightcrawler discuss trying to reason with the aggressive X-Dorks. The two teams seem to be in extremely even match for each other. Pat, do you want to discuss some of these like fight highlights? Because I was just going to skip over this whole fight scene because it's just a fight, but like there's some cool shit.
I mean, number one, we get the introduction of just an iconic move.
Yes.
Right?
This is the very first Fastball Special, Pat.
Oh. And they've already named it that. It is perfect.
They use it on Angel.
I would say the first sign that something is off about these original X-Men is that Angel wins a fight. He actually...
Yeah, he beats up Banshee. Like, that's the first thing he does. And then he throws Wolverine into Colossus.
Colossus takes a full-on blast from Havoc.
Holy shit, dude.
He survives.
Well, he says like, this hurts. Holy, like,
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah. I couldn't do that again.
I'm sure he says Holy Hannah somewhere, but he says,
No, stop. Come on.
I think it's Nightcrawler versus Beast is a really cool matchup.
Ooh, yeah. And Nightcrawler's got a pretty solid internal monologue through it.
Yeah. Like, he's like, oh my god, it's
and this
his speed, his agility, it's unlike anything I've ever seen.
This is Skin Beast too, not Fur Beast.
Yeah, you're right. It's Skin Beast. Which is what I call my Xavier at some point stands up and punches Wolverine to the ground.
Right.
And he's wearing a really wide tie. Xavier, come on.
It's the 70s.
Yeah, you're right. The other thing is Storm is the first one to recognize Jean as an imposter.
Right.
She says,
this is not my dear friend that I've known for my whole life.
Which is interesting because then she immediately gets knocked out, so she doesn't really have a chance to tell anybody that she discovered this when the fight comes to an abrupt end as Wolverine plunges 2 claws into the chest of Jean Grey.
Everyone's shocked.
Yeah, they're pissed. Like, Banshee is fucking pissed. Only to be revealed in the next 2-page spread that these original X-Men were robots.
What?
Aww. Lang howls in fury that his new super X-Sentinels were supposed to be unbeatable and tells his origin story, which is boring. He's basically a government guy appointed to appropriated funds to secretly use Trask's research with the intent to kill, not control, all mutants. As he rants, Scott bursts free from his holding tank and frees the rest as the new X-Men tear these X-Sentinels to bits on the monitor behind him. Lang gets in a dorky Dr. Robotnik gun craft, but Jean makes it fly into the screen and explode. Now, we're going to have a really important thing to talk about at the end of this issue, so now's the time I want to talk about Lang's X-Sentinels. First of all, he had to program a lot of dialogue into those motherfucking things.
They talk just like the original X-Men.
Right? How did he sit there and he was like, oh, I remember them saying this once.
Yeah, they like to call each other Wise Guy. I remember that.
Honestly, the bouncy one talks a lot. To
Claremont's credit, though, he really
nails it.
He nails it for all the Shakespearean poetry that he writes. He's able to just be like, cool down, dork.
Here, Tinhead, catch, is what Angel says when he throws. Yeah. But also, if Stephen Lang can replicate the X-Men's powers perfectly, he can come up with Havoc power level blasts that can make Colossus feel pain, right? He can create telepathy that penetrates Wolverine's brain. What's the point of the fucking X-Men? What's special about them? I mean, he can make a robot as fast and agile and strong as Beast.
So it is explained by the new X-Men that know the original X-Men that they're not quite as strong. They're a little weaker.
Well,
the X-Men do make short work of them when they're a full team.
Well, I want to say the Jean's telekinesis is a little weaker, and Scott's beams are a little weaker, but that's true anyway. Claremont has made it very clear that both Cyclops and Jean have leveled up their powers. And that's, right. Remember, like, that's why the Sentinels couldn't handle them, because they were just a little stronger than they expected.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. That's all I want to say about that. Just then, so just as Jean kills Stephen Lang, the new X-Men rush into the room and warn everyone the space station is about to explode. They run back.
Here we go again.
They run back to Peter Corbeau's space shuttle, but he warns them 3 things. 1, the flight control computer is damaged, so the craft must be piloted manually. 2, there's a hole in the hull and no pressure suits. 3, there's a massive solar flare that will kill anyone who tries to pilot them back to Earth, even if the hull is repaired. So the X-Men are doomed. Like, they're dead.
Eek.
There's no way home. Until Jean steps up. She takes the knowledge of piloting a space shuttle from Corbeau's brain and declares that with her telekinesis, she's the only one who will be able to pilot the shuttle to safety before, as she says, like, inevitably dying. The solar flare will kill her, but she's the only one who can make it far enough by protecting herself with telekinesis and by sealing the hull. Cyclops tries to stop her, but she knocks him unconscious.
Yeah, she does.
I don't want to ruin the drama of the moment, but Cyclops grabs her by both shoulders and says, "But how will you survive the solar flare, you little..." and then gets cut off. What was he gonna call her? You little
Minx.
M-dash. Minx.
You little minx.
Lover of mine?
But you'll die, you little minx.
But you'll die, you little my girlfriend. I'm so glad. Like, he's probably gonna call her a racial slur like he did to those people in the desert. Anyway, back to the drama of the moment.
Yeah, this is serious.
She knocks Cyclops unconscious. Wolverine then tries to stop her, but she yells at him so bad that he quietly sits down.
Yeah, she is in charge.
Mm-hmm. Only Storm seems to accept Jean's decision. Jean seals herself in the cockpit, seals the hull with her telekinesis, and begins piloting the shuttle back into Earth's atmosphere. Cyclops struggles frantically against the grip of Nightcrawler, who cries as he attempts to console his friend. As the solar flare begins to break through and Jean Grey begins to die, the issue ends. And, like, legitimately, we close the issue knowing Jean is not coming out of this one alive. To be continued.
This is crazy.
The last thing she shouts is Scott's name.
No.
It's crazy.
It is such an emotional, 2-3 pages of her, number one, deciding that she's going to do it. Number two, explaining it to everyone and getting them to accept it. And then number three, actually piloting the ship and keeping everyone safe. The dialogue does it. The art does it. The faces on these people, the emotion on their faces. It is, like, heart-wrenching.
Like, it's coming. It's going to happen, right? Like,
yeah.
There's no getting out of this. And yeah, this will have consequences that exist till today.
Yeah.
This is, for all intents and purposes, this is Jean's death.
It's a very big moment in Marvel history, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not just X-Men history.
Absolutely. I do want to say, so this last page, as she's facing the solar flare, like, she goes into Technicolor, and, like, instead of black, in what would normally be inked black, it's, like, bright orange, and there's all sorts of colorful swirls around her and around the spaceship, and then she's engulfed in what looks like just fire. Like, her body is being burned. And that's literally what's happening. Her body, the radiation is frying it. And Dave Cockrum adds a little Easter egg here. I don't know if you noticed it. As it's happening, a sound effect happens. And it's taka, 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 taka. That is the exact same sound effect that happens when the Fantastic Four are bombarded by cosmic rays.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
That is so interesting, Matt. Finally, you said something. No, that's wild. I did not realize that.
I didn't either until I read an interview with him. So, like, we've been with Jean Grey for this whole podcast so far, and she had so little characterization, and now just
these last fucking 5 issues, and then she dies.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like she just started kissing Cyclops and saying "I love you."
Yeah, yeah.
Like their relationship just came to fruition. That tearful goodbye, and then she just came right back. Like what?
Sure.
And this moment of heroism, that these moments of taking charge.
She's mastered her powers.
In so few issues, her and Storm have become super close friends, I guess off panel because they talk about it.
Sure.
She has gained Wolverine's just utter respect. It's fucked up. It's like a really sad moment.
Yeah, yeah. They do her justice. They gave her a really good send-off here, but yeesh.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I don't even know how else to eulogize Jean Grey. Like it's a little like, it's like losing a friend that you didn't get close enough to.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
anyway, so that's how it ends. So we'll see what happens next issue. Do the rest of the X-Men survive? Who knows? Goofy, make a joke, Pat.
How about Pat steals and deals? Let's bring things back up, folks. We do have an exciting one this week.
Mm-hmm.
It starts off, I'll read it this way. Free book.
Yes, I'm in. Got it. Steal
and a deal. It's free.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is. 2,100 unique ways to make money.
Okay. All right. All right.
This is the world's most unique money-making book. There's plenty of money-making books out there, Matt, but this one is unique. And it's free.
Okay. Is it unique because it tells you all the different ways you can pay them money?
You can start at home, be your own boss.
All right. It's a pyramid scheme.
Please send 25 cents for postage and handling. State your age.
What?
State your age.
State your age.
I think you're probably very right that this is a pyramid scheme and there are certain ages that they don't want to get involved.
Or like if you're 10, it's like, sell candy bars for us. And if you're 20, it's like sell Avon for us. And 20, it's like sell Tupperware.
Yeah.
And then if you're 50, it's like sell Avon for us.
It is, these comic books are chock full of pyramid schemes for young people. So I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they're just trying to grab as many people as they can and then segment it by age.
Pat, I want you to tell me, you don't have to tell me the actual address, but like who is this addressed to?
Success Department. Or I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And they are located on 8 Mile Road in Detroit, Michigan.
Send 25 cents and your age to the Success Department. And we'll tell you how to make money.
Incredible stuff.
Wow.
Free book.
All right. What are your final thoughts about this whole thing? I know we usually do that before Pat Steals and Deals, maybe. I don't remember.
We're all out of sorts here.
Fucking thrown off by Jean Grey dying.
Holy shit. And we covered, 7 issues here? So
the first year of Claremont, yeah.
We did a good bit of reading, but if I was a hungry X-Men fan over the last 5 years, at this point I am full.
Yeah. Wait, Pat, you fucking were. You were that.
A hungry X-Men fan.
Yeah.
I'm always a hungry X-Men fan.
It's gonna Wawa after this.
There are so many threads being opened in a way, like I said, that makes it clear they'll be followed up on. And I'm sure there's going to be some that go by the wayside, but they are setting up for more than a year's worth of stories that are all interconnected. It's very clear. The absurdities of the old X-Men age are actually addressed here. There's a moment where Scott just flips out on the X-Men. Mm-hmm. Peter Corbeau turns to him and is like, dude, you're kind of out of line here. You're really flipping out. Whereas in the past, it would have just been like, oh, that's Scott, uptight slim.
Yeah.
There is the moment where their escape pod pops out of the jet when Count Nefaria blows it up, and
Mhm.
it's a very funny 2 panels where Scott is like, it's our last chance. I hope he didn't see our escape pod pop out here, or else he'll kill us. And then it cuts immediately to Nefaria going, there you have an escape pod. And it's just like, in the past, that
Yeah.
escape pod would have made it under the radar and maybe just blown up through some weird force of nature to have them falling to the ground. This is all just so well thought out.
How pissed do you think Roy Thomas was reading this? Like a guy who's actually smart, a guy who actually has like a lot of literary references
Mhm.
that work, even if they're dumb. Like they work. Unlike Roy Thomas's, who was like, "What if Frankenstein was a
Had
robot?"
lasers.
And Chris Claremont says, "The Bard of Avon said, to sleep, perchance to dream." It's off to such a fucking kick-ass start, dude. It's
Yeah.
What is so refreshing about this is just the actual, like, obviously it's still comics, so it's still absurd. There's all sorts of absurd shit happening, but the actual characterization happening here is fucking fantastic.
It's really brilliant.
We've got Nightcrawler, who is immediately making friends, immediately being compassionate with everybody he sees, and immediately just full of this love of adventure. Like, so much about Nightcrawler is just there. Then
He is the coolest character in comics. He gets a swashbuckling moment that we kind of skipped over, where Scott is even like, dude, you gotta stop showboating. But it's so cool. He's just so fucking cool.
He's cool. Then you got Wolverine, who's we don't see much Wolverine yet, but he's got this attitude. He's a killer. He's like, we don't see his noble side yet, but we do see him cowing to some of the stronger women, which is interesting. I think we're going to see more from Wolverine. Like, I don't think these are Wolverine's strongest issues yet, but again, Cyclops, finally a character, right? Banshee, just this happy-go-lucky womanizing dude who can fucking, when the chips are down, he can really mix it up. He can keep himself together and really cause some chaos, like cause some damage, right? When they were like up on that space station.
Yeah.
Oh, Wolverine even then shows himself at that point like, I am fine, when he was beating up on me. But the moment he touched Jean Grey, he fucking crossed a line. There's a real Wolverine moment.
Yeah.
You get Storm, again, already commanding the respect of several people on the team. Colossus, who is growing this instant affection for the people around him. Not communicating it the way Nightcrawler is, because he doesn't have that level of social skills, but communicating it through his actions and his heroism. Like, oh, I'll protect these people. While Nightcrawler's more like, I'm going to take care of these people. Fucking god damn, it's good, dude.
Oh, man. Nightcrawler also probably has the most beautiful voice, right? And we mentioned Alan Cumming doing it in X2, and I think he does it very well. The German accent, speaking English, I think is very beautiful. I think what a lot of people assume is the German accent is actually an Austrian accent, because they're used to hearing Arnold Schwarzenegger and Hitler. But the actual like German accent speaking English is beautiful and melodic, and I just picture Kurt being so damn cool. I love this guy.
He's so cool. I mean, there's a lot to be said about, like, he is already the emotional core of this team, and he's been in the fucking comic for 6 issues.
Yeah. We talked a couple episodes back about action figures, I think on the bonus episode.
Mm-hmm.
Nightcrawler is actually the first X-Men action figure that I bought. I remember my mom taking me to the toy store. I remember buying it just because he was a cool looking dude, and the X-Men was a show that had just started on television. And then I remember learning that he can teleport up to a mile, and asking my mom what a mile was, and learning what a mile was.
Was that the Nightcrawler action figure where you could put the Excalibur in his hands and it would complete a circuit and Excalibur would light up?
No,
I had that. I still have that one upstairs.
His little pirate swords.
Okay, yeah, I had the Excalibur Nightcrawler. I still have it
That's so
upstairs, and it
cool.
rules. Yeah, Nightcrawler is so cool.
Yeah. If there's anything you're coming away with at the end of this episode, it should be Nightcrawler's so cool.
I don't know. I like my thing about Colossus versus Nightcrawler's character. It's fine. Whatever. No,
and
it's
it's the death of Jean Grey too. It's
oh boy. Well, everybody, thank you so much for listening. This has been the first year of the Chris Claremont run. I'm really, really excited to keep getting in deeper and deeper into this. We're finally reading good comic books.
oh, what a relief.
All right, everybody, if you want to reach out to us, you can email Pat's email corner at mutantmenacepod@gmail.com.
Please send us an email. We love you guys.
We love Weapon Jason and email Michael,
and all of our listeners that wrote in.
But it would be cool to hear from some new folks too.
Oh,
not instead, but in addition.
You can follow us on Instagram at Mutant Menace Pod. Big thanks to Krills Wilson for the opening theme. Big thanks to Julia Selly for providing the voice of Trish Tilby. And Matt,
yeah,
as we say at the end of every episode,
sure,
please use atmospheres to provide mutants with a temporary environment.
And remember, okay, freaks, the party's over.